Whew. Self-care for men. I got some tools for that. Let's talk about it. All right, fellas, what's going on? What's going on? We got some stuff to talk about. So let's get into it. Today, we're talking about self care. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Self care is not a feminine action. Self care is not something that just women only do. Men also do self care. So we got to talk about this stigma of men thinking that they can't take care of themselves or that they're going to be perceived as a certain way because they take care of themselves. You got to get over that, man. Matter of fact, how about this? How about if we say mental care? How about that if we don't address it as self-care? How about that? Does that work for you guys? I'm going to work with you guys if you work with me, okay? But I need you to not be in your feelings, not be in your ego, because this is something that seriously is going to affect you. And I got some ideas that can help you work through it. But you got to work with me first. Work with me and I'll work with you. So we're going to keep things simple because that's how we do it here. All right. So let's get back to self-care. What exactly is self-care? The short and sweet story of self-care, summarized version, is that self-care can be an action, an activity, a behavior, or practice that a person does to take care of their mental health, their emotional health, and their physical health. Basically, what do you do to keep yourself in a good, functional, beneficial, positive mind frame? Basically, I think one of the reasons why men struggle with self-care is because women broadcast self-care so much more. You see women who go get their hair done, get their nails painted, or go shopping, and they always say that that's a good form of self-care for them. And that's okay. That's fine. But believe it or not, more men actually do self-care more routinely than women. Because think about it, guys. And as an example, women are not going to get their hair done every day. They're not going to get their nails painted every day. They're not going shopping every day. That's not what they're doing. So you have to look at it from a different standpoint. And believe it or not, you're probably already doing self-care. You just have not put the thought with it. You haven't put the action with it. You haven't put the label of self-care on it. For instance, more men would sit back, relax, play video games, watch movies, eat, or jump in the truck, go for a drive, go fishing, go to the gun range, go work out, go to the track. All of that could be considered as self-care. I'm sorry, mental care. But all of that could be seen as caring for yourself, basically. So we got to get in the right mind frame of where we can look at it and we can acknowledge it for what it is, So I want you guys to not look at self-care as, oh, it's a feminine activity. It's not. It's not, fellas. It's not. And it's so much more important for your own health, your own mental well-being. And so let's just get to a point where we can acknowledge that as men, that is not offending your masculinity. And that's why the tagline of this show is defining your masculinity. So you define what that looks like for you, because I'm not here to tell you how to be a man or what your masculinity should be. I'm here to give you the tools, the tips, the strategies to help you define what masculinity looks like for you. And so you can feel comfortable in your own skin and knowing who you are. Okay? All right, let's move along. So I explained that self-care is an action or an activity that a person can do to take care of their mental, emotional, and physical well-being, right? Okay, got that. So how does that look for you? What does that look like for you? Have you even thought about it? You probably did it, but didn't know you were doing it. Trust me, it happens a lot. So for me, I've worked out three areas of self care, well, mental care, three areas of mental care that have worked for me, and I'm going to share that with you guys, because that's what I do here. I wouldn't share anything with you that I haven't done or implemented for myself to make things better, or at least, tried something, some trial and error. If something didn't work out, trust me, I won't give it to you guys, or I'll tell you that, hey, don't do that. All right. So, what self care isn't? How about that? Self care is not about pampering yourself. It's not about, having an obsession to where, oh, I will go and play video games all day. That's an obsession. That's not self care. That's not. So we got to make sure we understand what self care isn't. If it falls into the realm of an obsession, of a hobby that is now becoming an obsession, that's actually going to work against you. That's going to work against you in so many ways. So you got to understand when you can see that, well, hopefully you become aware enough to where you can see that your self-care is getting out of hand. You've lost control of it. Okay. So be care of that. Don't over pamper yourself. Another thing too, self-care is not therapy. Self-care is not therapy. If you're going through something that's overwhelming and you're struggling to figure it out, please seek professional help. You have to please seek professional help to work that out, because that's beyond the realm of self-care. Beyond the realm. Self-care is something you want to do in a positive manner. Self-care is something you want to do that helps you before you reach burnout, And there's lots of benefits that also come with self-care, such as reduce stress, reduce anxiety. It can help you boost up your self-esteem. It can also help you enhance your confidence in yourself, along with that self-esteem. So working through self-care and also the added effect of better health, better mental health, better physical health, better emotional health. So when we look at self-care, I know a lot of guys struggle with it because they either think about it the wrong way, or they look at it as something that's not achievable for them. And what I mean by not achievable for them is because self-care could be something at the most simplest form. The most simplest form. Trust me, like when I say something as far as, hey, going to get yourself a meal is self-care. Like a nice 5-star dinner at a 5-star restaurant and getting yourself a meal, that could be considered self-care. Now, don't do it too much now, because it's going to get expensive and it might become something far greater than what it should intend to be. So what I want to share with you guys today are three things that I've put together, that I work on for myself, and how I manage my own mental care. There's three tips. The first tip that I want to share with you guys is actual self-care. I know, right? Actual self-care. That's step number one. See, this is the one where a lot of people, they get started at and they only stop. They only go so far as this step, because it's the basic common step, the self-care, like taking care of yourself, basically. And this is where, for guys, self-care is, like I said, getting in your truck, going for a drive, listening to music, going to work out, hit the gym, hit the track, going to play basketball, sitting on the couch, playing video games, playing with your kids, reading, whatever the case may be. That is the form of self-care where it gets you to a point where you relax your mind, you relax your body, you relax your energy, and you just feel more calm, And the reason why I say men do this more often is because on a day-to-day basis, more men are doing self-care. Now, even what you do behind closed doors is self-care. Now, I'll let you do with that what you will, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So, the first step in a good mental care plan is actual self-care. Taking care of yourself. figuring out the things you like, figuring out who you are. And this is why I harp so much on self-awareness and learning who you are, is because who else is going to take care of you if you don't take care of yourself? You are your own responsibility. So you got to figure that out. You need to figure out the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and self-care will help you with that. Figure out the things you want to do on a rainy day, the things you want to do on a sunny day. Like, let's not overcomplicate it, but be aware of what it is. Honestly, be aware of what it is. So the first step is actual self-care, taking care of yourself. Now, step number 2 is space care. Space care. You know what that is? I'm pretty sure you do. You guys are pretty smart. Space care is taking care of your space, man. Basically what it is. Taking care of your space. Because the one thing that, for me, what I hate is coming home from a hard day's work and my space is dirty. My place is dirty. Bed is not made. Dishes in the sink. Things like that. I hate that. So it's self-care for me to clean up my space, clean up my area, clean my house up, vacuum my floor, wash my dishes, clean my bathroom, all of that stuff. Don't look at it as a chore. You have to look at it as something that's inviting for you. Especially if you have people over at your house and it's dirty. What are you going to do then? You're probably going to feel embarrassed. But the thing is when your space is clean, you feel clean. When your space is dirty, you might feel dirty too. So definitely look at your space. And that extends to your car, your truck, your vehicle. Make sure your vehicle is clean too. Don't do one without the other. So, but it becomes a practice within yourself that it starts to extend out. That energy will extend out. It's like, okay, my house is clean. I'm gonna go clean my truck. I'm gonna go clean my car and things like that. I'm gonna clean my workshop, whatever it is. That's just something that I think a lot of men need to get into the practice of doing anyway. If you make a mess, clean the mess up. Don't just leave it for somebody else to clean up. Make sure you take responsibility up. You're accountable for your own mess. So make sure you clean that up. So space care. Space care. Do something different. Like put up, a poster or something on your wall. Who knows? It doesn't have to be something. Make it appropriate. Let's just put it that way. Make it appropriate. It could be a poster of Kobe Bryant or Muhammad Ali or a sports figure or a movie actor, whatever the case may be. If it's something that helps you get into the mind frame of feeling relaxed and feeling calm. And this is where a lot of men work on their man caves. That's where that comes from. Space care. It's a place where you can go to and you can let your guard down. You can relax. You can chill. You can be you. You let your mind just turn off for a second and let your guard down. All right. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. So the first one is what? Self-care. Actual self-care. The second one is what? Space care. That's when you're taking care of your space. All right. So third tip that I have for you guys is I would like to say this is one that's more of, it's kind of an external care. And that's when you care for something else, someone else, something outside of yourself. Because you already have self-care that's for you. You have space care for your environment. And now you have this care that is where it's external. You care for other people. And how do you do that? You do that through volunteer work, donations, helping people out. It's something bigger than you. It's caring for something bigger than you. Even if you go and, help one of your neighbors, help them out and do something where it's not about you. This brings in a different type of energy. This brings in an energy where you see yourself as a contributor. You see yourself as someone that can take the benefits that you've learned from your own self-care, and now you can help somebody else, achieve a type of level of care for themselves, And I think that you'll get a lot out of that one. It's probably one of my favorites, my favorite tips. And I keep it simple. What I do is I go through old toys, old kids' toys, clothes, my own clothes, things I don't use, and go and donate them. That's one of the simplest ways you can do it. Go through your house, clean out things that you don't use, and donate them. That's a good way to do that type of care. Because that is, it's a different feeling, man, when you can look at somebody's face and you see that you've touched them in a way that has helped them, a person that has been struggling with something. Like the videos I'm doing right now with you guys is my form of helping you guys, my type of external care that I have with you guys. I sit here and talk with you guys and we have a conversation, and I just share some life tips, some life hacks and things that way to help you be a better man, help you elevate your self-awareness. And I hope you guys can understand that, those 3 different types of self-awareness and self-care and mental care that will help you guys become a better person, both individually, internally, and externally. There's so many different ways to help you with that. So I'm not going to keep this video long. Hope you guys understand that. Also, if you look in the description below and look for my 50 ideas for self-care. It's a total free resource. You can grab that and have 50 ideas that you can go through and have some self-care for yourself. I mean, you got things on there like fishing, going for that drive, going for a hot meal for yourself. One of my favorite ones is go to a nice restaurant, have a nice meal. Let me explain this example to you. All right. As guys, there are so many guys who go on a date and you take your date to a nice 4-star, 5-star restaurant. You get a nice meal that's like whatever, $50, $60 meals or more. But you never do that for yourself. Why not? You're going to go take your date to a nice restaurant and you pay $100 for a meal, for a plate, whatever. But when you by yourself, you go and eat hot dogs and hamburgers and French fries. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. But get to a point where you do give yourself some of the finer things. Just don't do it overboard. Take yourself out, have a nice meal. You deserve it. You work hard. You earn it. Spend on yourself. Just don't overdo it. Have some restraint and some control. All right. So with that being said, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Check the link in the description below for that free resource. And you guys be safe out there. Have an awesome day. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.